Duran Duran, Careless Memories. This is a CVT guitar lesson for Paul. And if I remember right, Paul, you wanted this for your wife. So shout out to Paul's wife. Interesting, I don't get a lot of requests for, you know, the new wave pop stuff of the 80s. You're one of the few. Remember in the 80s I wasn't a big fan of Duran Duran, and then I remember hearing Power Station, which had some members from Duran Duran, and I started expanding in my music, soaking up everything and realizing what good players they were. So good call, man. You got unique taste in music. I did a few little filler parts because it's very synth driven. So to play it by yourself, there's going to be some pockets. So I tried to keep it, well, you'll see as we jump in. The tuning is standard, and what's happening is section 1, 6 seconds in, I don't know if you have a whammy bar. If you do, it's going to totally help for something, because this is kind of a key little hook that they're doing. Open E string, and then open G and B, and with the whammy bar you're just gonna push it down about that much and then deaden the strings. That goes on like 9 times. You want the separation, in other words, don't go. You don't want to hear that open E ringing, so it's not a hold. That's going to go 9 times. And then what I would do here, because the guitar kind of cuts out, but to keep it flowing, section 2, 33 seconds in, maybe put a little distortion on and just play the synth melody, which is real easy melodic run. 13B, rest, 15, 17, 15, and then 15, 14 on the E. And then jump back to the clean. And what it is this time, section 3A, 39 seconds, it's the same as section 1. You'll go. He just hits an extra G, B in there 2 times. Line with the X in your tabs is staccato. It means it's a break. You wouldn't want to go. You want to go. Okay? It just does that one time, and then it jumps into section 3B, which is a variation of section 1, but I can hear him playing an E5 power chord, which is open E, 2A, and then the GB open with the whammy bar dive. If you want it fuller as a solo guitar, you can do that for section 1 as well. It'll just fatten it up a little. Then a series of repeats at 45 seconds, and then the distortion will kick in on this part, and this would be the, you know, primary guitar part, the toughest part of the song. It's percussive. It's now he had a few variations in there, but I'm giving you the main pocket groove of that. It's an E5 with the octave in it, so 7A, 9D, and 9G. You can use whatever fingerings you want. I like to do what I call a double bar. Technically the index isn't barring, but it looks like it serves as a mute. And I'm actually touching underneath string 6, so I don't hit it, because with our strum hand we're doing downs ups, or down ups. It's like a, in other words, well, within that, which is called 16th notes, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a, we're either dealing with that E5 power chord with the octave in it, E and an E, but you're going to go down, up. But think of it like this, Paul. Down, up, and then mute, down, up. So you'll go. Now, if you're using the same finger as me, you're going to relieve the pressure off these slightly, drop the middle finger over all 6, and then mute. You don't have to hit all 6 strings on the mutes, just get a good chunk of it, at least half. That's the X that's symbolized on your tabs. If you can get this, you're going to be pretty good, because check it out, you're going to repeat it. So it'll go. But the second time, it's on the mute, it's down, up, down. So then check it out. This is used in reggae music a lot. You're going to up strum the chord, downstroke the mute 2 times with an extra upstroke on the last mute. Your beat placement in there is so those pockets are all filled with mutes. Sounds like get out to the highway. So anyways, and like I said, experiment with fingering. Some people like to use the pinky to bar with. If that's the case, then you'd go, you can use these 2 fingers just to help solidify the mutes. Alright, I do have EQ settings. I add those with all my CVT lessons, so you'll see that on your key and glossary page. You don't need a lot of distortion. Maybe on the intro it's clean, but put a little bit of grit, so put it on 1, and then on this part I put 5. Of course, that's just ballpark. Everyone has different amps, different pickups, different, but this will get you close. That's going to go 9 times. Double dots in music means repeat, so behind those double dots you'll see like a 9x or however many times. That means play it 9 times. That was section 4. Section 5 comes in. Now there's a lot of sections in here, but not a lot of pages. Section 5, 1:30 in, and we're moving to a C major. It's 3A, and then the 5th fret, and I like to bar this on the D, G, and the B string. You can use your 3rd finger or your 4th finger, and you'll go, it's gonna ring, you'll go, so it's from a C major to a D major. That index, remember, mute string 6. So strum strings 5, or A, D, G, and B, strings 5 through 2. It's gonna ring, and then you're gonna do an up strum, mute down up, and then a D major. It's the same chord but a whole step higher. Whole step means 2 frets. So now it's 5A, 7th fret, D, G, and B. Strum that, and then that's gonna ring out. Hit it again with 2 downstroke mutes, then hit the chord again. To me it sounds like they're downstrokes there, because it's downstrokes give you more of a choppy, down up is more of a flow. So that section would be one thing that'll happen over time. Now you're a first time CVT student if I'm not mistaken, but so I haven't heard you play, don't know where you're at with your playing, but I will utilize travel time from one chord to another. If there's muting, that's where that will take place. So I can go, watch this. Oops, just watching the page instead of my fingers. If you just slowly start moving it as you're muting, and time it to where you land right on that D. You don't have to, but it in time, the longer you play as a guitarist, those are the little things you end up doing, and a lot of times, unless you're a teacher, you don't realize you're doing it. Okay, and then 136, we have a series of repeats till we hit 1:48. Section 6. We're 7A, 9th fret, D and G. Once again, whatever fingering you want. This is similar to something else we did. This is one of the other key parts. Good lesson for that percussive side of rhythmic playing for guitar. So it's a E to a C to a D. And you're going to go, and they're all down ups. Down up on the chord, down up on the mute. Do that 2 times. And then we're going to go to 3, 5, 5, 5. So this is a full C major. Down up, move it up a whole step to a D major, 5, 7, 7, 7, down up. So it's, and then that's going to go 4 times. So. Don't overanalyze the muting. Muting is especially with distortion, you get little tweaks and sounds and little harmonic things. It's a natural type of thing. Of course, the goal is the most solid mute you can get, but try not to overanalyze that part. Okay, and we're about done here. That goes 4 times, and then the E major at 2 minutes in, 7A, and then bar the 9th fret on the D, G, and B. Makes more sense than to try to cram in 3 fingers, you know? Twice. It's kind of like the breakdown. Then we turn over to page 3. Section 7, 212. Keep the distortion on. And it's not really a solo, it's just kind of a hook that he's throwing in there. It's open E. Looks easy, but if you haven't done this, it can be tough. We're going to bar the 2nd fret on the G and the B. I like to use the 1st finger. I don't go flat fingered. I actually put an angle on it, and I'll use my thumb to brace over the top, because what we got to do here, Paul, is bend both those strings. Don't bend up. I would bend down. It's more natural, and that thumb can serve as an anchor. That's going to go 4 times, so it's... So you should hear 2 notes, right, as you're bending it. Keep that pressure applied. Dig into that neck. Series of repeats. The only new part, I labeled it solo, but it's more of just a filler riff. At 333 in, you'll have the open E, and then back to the 2nd fret, G and B, and he does some like bending and releasing. So you'll go... So you're going to slowly bend it, bring it back, bend it, bring it back, bend it, bring it back. It's going to be the toughest part. If you're not used to doing this, you'll build up a callus. People think you just get them on the tips. Not true. You can get them on, you know, the surface part of your finger by doing stuff like this. So if you feel a little pain, it won't be bad, you know, but keep going, because you're going to end up with calluses there. That goes 4 times. And then the end of the song, section 8, I don't even know why I gave it a section name. It's just 2 things. But it's open E. It's a hold. You can let it ring as you go 1st fret G, open B, open E. So it's... And just let it ring. And that's it. So, like I said, you know, sometimes less is more in music. When you think of guitar, a lot of people are thinking of the 80s shredders and metal players, and there's some great stuff. I mean, that's my roots. But obviously, you got an open mind with music, and sometimes the guitar's not booming in your face; it's back in the pocket, and that's kind of what's going on with this. I mean, Duran Duran, they're good players, man. There's no doubt about it. So it doesn't have to be a million miles an hour shredding riffs. So I hope you enjoy this lesson. If there's any more CVT work you got for me, you got my email and you got my cell number, and let me know, okay? And if you have any questions, I'll get this taken care of, get it sent over to you. And once again, thanks. I really do appreciate it, Paul.